Hey everybody, how are we doing? We should be live right about now, right at the time my dog decides to start barking at me and staring at me weird. How's it going, Hugo? Good to see you. First person in on top of things today. So we got some big news that we need to talk about, and it was announced earlier today, and I think the way we're going to do this is we'll play some of the Atari 50th here that I have loaded up. I think I'll read the press release first. I'll kind of give my opinions on it. And then as we go through it, you guys can leave comments and stuff, and we'll kind of see what your thoughts are. And we'll kind of discuss what everything really means, or what all this means. Hey, Celeste, good to see you. Glad you could hop on. So earlier today, we got big news about the Atari 50th, the game that's already been out for a while. Um, as you can see, I have it loaded up in the back. It's sort of a documentary style game. Braylon, good to see you. Glad you could pop in. It's a documentary style game, and it's actually done fantastically well, in my opinion. This was the first game that gave me an inkling that Atari was back to maybe something that we should pay attention to, because in most ROM collections that you get, you have the games and then you'll have extras for each game, and it might be a singular picture of the old arcade cabinet and maybe an interview or something like that. This is how do you already have it? Hey Jolt, good to see you. Killer Roo, good, glad to see you here. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay too and everything. Let me know if you're having any issues there. um, but yeah, normally you would get a ROM collection and have a few extras. This is a full-blown documentary, essentially, that you can play. So you can watch the videos, you can play the games, you can watch read the advertisements and stuff like that. Um, why does my name have an emoji by it? Braylon, somebody gifted you a membership, so you are now an Atari Network member. Um, so now you have the tier 1 photo, which is the nerdy guy from Fight Night. Yep, because you're a member. Thank you, guys. So what they are now doing is they're re-releasing or releasing a new version of this with 39 new games and 2 new timelines. And as my dog jumped up onto my lap here, they knocked my phone out of my thing. So I'll grab this. So we're going to read the press release, and then I'll kind of give my I'll kind of give my thoughts on it as we read it. And like I said, you can leave your comments too. So this is basically the release, and I've gotten a few of these before, direct from the media company, or the company that does a lot of the promotions and advertising and marketing for Atari. So somebody just put this out in its raw form, which is fine. I mean, you're supposed to kind of dissect it. And hey, Fens, how you doing? And here's my dog. This is the one that had the ear issues, and he's being a big baby right now. He does not want me to stream. He wants me to pay attention to him. So I apologize, but you'll have a big dog head in the view. It's one of the features of the channel. So anyway, as the God, he's messing me all up here. Yes, buddy. Okay, so the press release reads as follows. Atari and developer Digital Eclipse are excited to announce a significant expansion to their acclaimed 2022 release Atari 50, the Anniversary Collection. The new version, entitled Atari 50... Okay, Mooch. Entitled Atari 50, the Anniversary Celebration Expanded Edition, adds 2 new timelines and 39 games to the playable Atari retrospective. The game will release October 25th on PC, Switch, Xbox One, and Series X, and PlayStation 4 and 5, and the Atari VCS this holiday, including a physical release on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5. So I think what they're saying is that October 25th, you get it for everything, and it sounds like the VCS you will get this upcoming holiday season, because it seems like they made a distinction there between the two groups. The physical release will include a steelbook version for the Nintendo Switch, which will come with Atari 2600 art cards, miniature arcade marquee signs, and an L. Alcorn replica Syzygy Company business card and steelbook case. The standard version will retail for $39.99, and the steelbook will retail for $49.99. So that's the first part of the press release. And I think that's smart for them to re-release it completely because it's going to release for full price or close to it. So essentially, for just doing a handful more interviews and adding 39 ROMs, they're going to pocket full price for the game from a few of us again. So, but it continues. The wider world of Atari timeline. So this is explaining what each of the timelines are going to be. So we don't have to speculate too much, but there is still room to speculate. The wider world of Atari timeline, which includes 19 playable games and 8 video segments, takes a series of deep dives into stories from Atari's history, showing how Atari continued to influence creators and fans over the decades. New interviews, vintage ads, historical artifacts, and more have all been researched and presented with Digital Eclipse's signature style. Highlights from the new timeline include a deep dive into Stern Electronics' robot blasting Berserk, unusual and underappreciated innovations and hidden gems from the late 1980s, a spotlight on the artist Evelyn Seto, who helped create the iconic Fuji Atari logo, Pong creator Al Alcorn explaining the birth of Breakout, and an exploration of the fan base's role in discovering unreleased prototypes, creating quote-unquote homebrew, and preserving Atari history. So, they are basically saying there that this wider world of Atari is going to feature unreleased stuff, homebrew, and sort of looks like Berserk among other things. So I think what we can take from this is we're going to see, again, it specifically cites unreleased prototypes, homebrew games, and preserving Atari history. And it also gives the date of the late 1980s. So I think we're going to see some unreleased stuff from the Atari 7800 come out on there. I'm thinking Sirius, Plutos, Missing in Action. Some of those releases will probably be on there. Some of those games, it would only make sense. The homebrew stuff. So with Atari acquiring Atari Age, it makes a lot of sense for them to feature homebrew, and I think Atari Age is going to be featured heavily in this timeline. So it'll probably say a lot about how Atari Age and the contributors continued to keep Atari alive, how Atari, was basically Atari Age more or less for a long time, and it'll probably feature a selection of ROMs from Atari Age. Now, before you get too excited, if you own a VCS like I do, I'm going to speculate that the Atari Age homebrews that are going to be on this collection are probably the ones they've been releasing for the VCS over the last couple months. So probably I would think Crystal Quest, Frenzy / Berserk, the few others that they had put on there. I'm not thinking we'll get anything too crazy as far as homebrew goes. I think it would be a huge win if they were able to get one of the games that was removed from the store back, but the likelihood of that I think is pretty nil, honestly, because most of those are licensing issues that keep them off of the collection. So I'm thinking if you have a VCS, you might be a little bit disappointed by the ROMs. Again, just pure speculation. Everything I read prior was Atari themselves, or at least their marketing firm. But that is just my thought. For the unreleased stuff, like I said, I'm thinking there's going to be some 7800 stuff. I think if they somehow, and this is just me dreaming big, if they got Toki on there for the 7800 somehow, it would be a massive win. I would buy every copy for every console just to support them, but I don't think we're going to see anything that crazy. But that's the wider world of Atari stuff, and we'll discuss it a little more with you guys as we start to play the games. Let's wrap up the press release really fast. We have the first console war timeline, which includes 20 playable games and half a dozen video segments, tells the story of the first major console war in the gaming industry between the 2600 and Intellivision. The team at Digital Eclipse curates an exploration of the rivalry, including Mattel's quixotic decision to create games for the competing 2600. Highlights include a selection of M Network games, including some fan favorites, a mix of Atari and M Network sports games, and some rare 2600 and 5200 prototypes. New interview features include former Intellivision game director Dan Daglow, M Network programmer Jane Turjung, Activision's David Crane and Gary Kitchen, homebrew programmer Dennis DeBro, and historians Leonard Herman and Mike Micah. So basically, at first thought you would think, okay, so they just purchased Intellivision, so this is why they're featuring this so heavily. And I think partially, yes, it makes sense now that they own Intellivision to do this, but they also own the M Network library, and you're only going to get the M Network games in here. I promise you probably won't get any Intellivision ROMs in here because it's a celebration of Atari, and I think it would kind of dilute the product a little bit to start offering competing company ROMs. So I think all the stuff is going to be M Network stuff. Now we can speculate which M Network games are going to be included. We could go crazy and talk about if they did include Intellivision games, which ones they will include. Hey, Legend, yeah, there will be another physical release for this. But yeah, it sounds like there's going to be a selection of, they specifically mentioned sports games, which I find kind of disappointing. Now, Atari sports games age a lot better than like the new Madden stuff. With Madden, once the next one comes out, the old one is kind of, what do you want to say, just no longer any good. With Atari sports games, at the very least, they have that timeless early feel. You don't have new rosters and that silly stuff. So, yeah, it's still disappointing, though, to have a focus on the sports games. And I think it's going to, it's less exciting when you see basketball and bowling and stuff. As good as those games were, I don't think it's what we really want to see. But again, there's going to be M Network fan favorites, they said, along with the sports games, and some rare 2600 and 5200 prototypes, which is pretty interesting. Now, previously they had included the same prototypes and the same unreleased stuff that we always get, but yeah, I don't know how exciting this is going to be. I don't know if there's any that we normally get that we've missed, and they're just going to throw those on there. But that is the press release in full. So basically, we're getting the wider world of Atari, which seems to have a focus on homebrew, community stuff, as well as games outside of Atari. So a lot of the games in this that we featured have been all Atari games. It sounds like, again, they mentioned Berserk and the company that made Berserk originally. So I think there's going to be a wider focus there on stuff outside of what Atari published. Again, in Dream World, there would be a lot of great stuff. For M Network stuff, I'd love to see Tron Deadly Discs. They could rebrand it as just Deadly Discs and put it on there, similar to what they did with the Bruce Lee game. I don't think that would be out of, I don't think that'd be out of the realm of probability, I guess is the word. But now I want to hear what you guys think. So we know what they're intending to do. They're adding 39 games. We know it's the wider world of Atari, and we know that it's an M Network Intellivision 2600 rivalry timeline. So let me know what you guys think they're going to be doing. I'll catch up on some comments real quick, and we'll jump into some gameplay here and kind of spend the rest of the night talking about what we do and don't want to see on this new 50th collection update. So again, thanks everybody for joining us. Hugo, how do you already have it? Well, I got connections, I have people that hook me up. Let's see, we answered that. Fens, good to see you. Jolt, good to see you. She likes my net. Yeah, see, and if you stay a member, you get different characters next to your name, so you work your way up to the heavyweight champion. Yeah, my dog is pretty. I love him. He's a good boy. So this is DLC. So to my understanding, this can be downloaded and played if you own the current version, and you can also buy it physically or on its own. To my understanding, I mean, that seems to be what has been said. again, I'm just going off of what I heard. It's kind of hearsay. I didn't see anything in the press release that would tell me that it's going to be a DLC. But it's popular belief, at least, that it's going to be a DLC. I don't think any pricing has been given for the DLC aspect either. No physical Xbox release. Yeah, there isn't going to be a physical release for Xbox. Who said that? Jeremiah. Yeah, sorry if you're an Xbox person. Which if I had a modern console, I would probably go Xbox. So that would suck. Because I do prefer physical media, obviously, like many of you do. For those that don't know, this is the Tempest arcade game. So this is the kind of games you would get on the 50th. And we might even check out one or two of the interviews for you guys if you haven't played the base version of 50th. Doubt Missing in Action is in there. Well, again, I think, again, with the Bruce Lee game for the 400 Mini, they just called it Lee. So with, like, Tron Deadly Discs, they could call it Deadly Discs or just Discs or something. And I could see that being a possibility. But you're right. That's probably the least likely of the prototypes that we would get. So good point there, Jeremiah. I'll concede that point to you. But again, we can go wild too, because it hasn't come out yet. We can do all the speculating we want, and I think now is the time to do it, because the product hasn't been finalized, or they're still finishing it up at least. So we can go nuts, and maybe who knows what will happen or not happen. Only physical release worth getting is for the Switch. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure the PlayStation release is fine. But, yeah, what will come first? The DLC or Mr. Run and Jump? DLC, I assume, is what you meant. Probably a DLC for this, I would think, Keith. I'm expecting 7800 Frenzy. Yeah, I think that's a given. I think that's definitely going to be on there. OG Hugo, I have a PS5 and Switch, and almost all my physical games are Switch, with some exceptions. But yeah, it seems like Switch has a lot bigger physical presence, I guess. But I know nothing about that stuff, honestly. It's available on the VCS store, so you might be right. Again, that announcement made it sound like, because they mentioned Switch, PS5, Xbox, all that stuff, and then they put an and VCS for the holiday season, or that's how it read to me. So the VCS might be getting the short end of the stick. We might be getting it much later, as they tend to do to us. So, us VCS people are an afterthought. It makes sense, though. I mean, I'm sure they make most of their money on Switch and stuff. Hey, Ramy, good to see ya. Cool, but also a little lame for those that already own the physical, though I'll still get it. And I think that's what Atari's counting on, because this could, it'll come out during the holidays, October 25th, so a lot of people will be, asking for it for the holidays. A lot of Atari fans, I should say, not a lot of people. You never know. I think the 50th collection did well for Atari. I think that's why they continue to do updates and stuff. So I think it makes sense that the 50th collection has been a big seller for Atari. And I think the ability to, again, sell it during the holidays, so you got people looking for gifts. It hits the shelves. It looks different than what's already out there. And hold on, my dog is going nuts. Let me mute myself and see what he's doing, and then we'll come back to this. Okay, the dog said he's not sure if he's done barking yet. Nope, he says he's not done. Hey, no, they want to talk to you. They want to see you on camera. Anyway, so let's see. Try to catch up on some comments real quick, because I am about halfway down this list. All right, let me come back to this, guys. Okay, so my apologies, guys. The dog was insisting that somebody was here to see them, and I'm trying to prove to them that they're not here, but he is slowly calming down. So anyway, we're gonna switch games real quick. I'm sorry. Let's do some Black Widow. I love Black Widow, and we'll try to get through some of these comments here. So, a section covering Atari Soft. Yeah, when I heard wider world of Atari, that's initially what I thought was like Atari Soft stuff. I was kind of hopeful that our PS1 Atari games would hit the or at least get a mention on the collection. Because Jason Hill, good friend of the channel, Jason Hill, he made a good point that that was a aspect of Atari. It was Atari just the same as Atari today is Atari. So he feels that should get a net mention and a nod, and I feel for him too, because he was a part of Atari during a time of its history, and not mentioning it seems kind of just not great for people who worked on it and worked on those games during that time and had passion just as everybody else does. Jet Screamer, good to see you. Stopping in before bed. Appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. Let's see. Tuesday night is running late. Oh, hey, is it Tuesday? I might be stepping on old Vinny's toes. I apologize. But we'll wrap up rather quickly here. I just wanted to talk about the announcement. Alpha Timberwolf, is this going to be free DLC upgrade or we buy it? I believe we're gonna have to buy it. I don't think it's gonna be a free DLC upgrade, but we'll find out pretty soon here. I read the whole press announcement and I did not see anything mentioning pricing for the DLC, so I am not sure what the plan is as far as pricing goes for DLC. But I would imagine it's not free. I would be really shocked if it was, but it would be a good move to make it free. Ramey's going to go see if Vinny's online yet. Gotcha. Fingers crossed for some Jag games. I do not think we're going to see anything more Jaguar in the collection. It's sounding like a lot of homebrew and network stuff. A lot of stuff that they've recently acquired seems to be, their main focus or topics of discussion here. But we'll find out. Again, everything right now is speculative until Atari announces the games. And they might do something like they did before, where they make an announcement. They did the puzzle thing before, where they announced the games and you had to solve the puzzle. Man, I'm doing awful. I bought it for the Switch just for the portability. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. PS4 is great. Going to be a lot of sports games. Yeah. Let's see. I was expecting Jaguar CD Brain Dead 13 when this was originally announced a few months ago. Now I'm doubting that. Yeah, I highly doubt anything Jaguar or Jaguar CD related. But who knows? I mean, maybe Wider World of Atari is going to have Jaguar CD stuff. I mean, it could make sense. It is Wider World of Atari, I guess, or part of Atari's wider history. So maybe they will. I mean, and what could they could put out Battle Morph. Like you said, maybe that I don't know nothing about Brain Dead 13. I don't think I've ever even downloaded or tried that on my game drive. So I don't know anything about that, but I'm sure if who said that? If it was Jeremiah Thomas, then I'm sure you know better than I would, since you always seem to be one of the people correcting me on here, and I always appreciate it, so I don't sound like a dummy all the time. Jeremiah is good people. Glad to have you hanging around the channel. Let me see as we'll read some more comments. I used to be all out for them, but now it's like meh. Let's see, a lot of hellos. Glad everybody's getting along. Join the Discord. A lot of people interact at the Discord, and they have a good time over there. Yeah, sorry about the dog. I apologize for that. VCS 800 owners are not an afterthought with this. are not an afterthought with this. Okay. So you're saying that 800 is going to be a focus? Oh, I'm sorry, fans, if that set your dogs off. Yeah. Yeah, my dog just went nuts out of nowhere. Yeah, that we got him to protect the Atari stuff, so he does his job very well. Justin Messer, good to see you. How's the emulation on this collection? I saw it on sale on Nintendo Switch. The emulation is fantastic, and let's get out of the arcade stuff actually to kind of show off some of the stuff that's already on here. So it's separated into timelines, and right now with the base version we have 5 timelines. So you have the Arcade Origins, which is the timeline we were just in, and then you have the birth of the console. So this is like Atari 2600. Highs and lows, this is 5200, 7800, 5200, I think 7800 stuff, mid 80s. You have the dawn of the PCs, so this is their computer stuff. And then you have the 90s and beyond, which is the Jaguar stuff. So you can go through and you can kind of do the whole documentary style where you go through each timeline. You can go down each path, find out what each path says, zoom in on the Link stuff, watch the Link's video. We'll play the video for giggles here. And the videos are very well done. I think the interviews are interesting.
In my early days with Atari that I wished everything.
Like this is the founder of Double Fine.
I got links and
they got good people for the interviews, people you'll want to hear from.
Todd Slime World. Let's do this. Let's play Warbirds.
And they have a lot of good things to say. So, I think the interviews are very much worth looking at. And that was one of the best aspects of this, again, for me, was just learning so much about Atari that I didn't know before. And you even get, simple schematics for the links and stuff like that. And then on top of it, as you're going and you're reading about the stuff, then you can start to play the games as well. So you got Ninja Golf, Basket Brawl, and you can look at the art for Basket Brawl. 2600 version of Fatal Run, both versions of Scrapyard Dog, which is awesome. Got the advertisements, which I'm a huge advertisement nerd, so I'm glad to have these. Looks like there's a super chat on here, so let me try to get down to that for you guys. Something's up. No, Vinny isn't live still. I wonder what's going on with Vinny then. I didn't mean to step on his toes. I completely forgot about 2B Tuesday. Hopefully everything's okay with him. Toe Muncher, how you doing? Good to see you. Why do people not use the same username everywhere? I don't know. I know I changed mine a few times because it wasn't available everywhere. It is not free. Atari has confirmed it will cost for the DLC to the earlier collection. Gotcha. Thanks a lot for clarifying, Jeremiah. Hey, Toe, I'll be happy with more Atari ST content. Atari ST stuff would be great. That's one of the things I initially thought of when I first heard this. I was like, man, Atari ST has got to be included, right? But I was also thinking 8-bit. I was thinking, I knew there'd be Atari Age stuff, so, more ST. There has to be some ST before there's more ST. Yeah, I guess that's true, technically. Wolf Sight, great to see you. There was a paragraph about the ST and Atari 50. Yeah, so you got something. You got a wink and a nod. It'll have to be a lot of stuff for me to buy it. Yeah, it sounds like it's half a dozen interviews one way, 8 interviews the other way. Again, you get a lot of the advertisement type stuff, and then you'll get 39 new games. So it's substantial, but it's not a terrible lot. It really just depends what games they include. I think that's the big thing. As for the username issue, I get random DMs, and okay, I'll let you explain your username issues. OG Hugo says, hit the thumbs up, everybody. Please do. It helps the channel out a ton. I greatly appreciate it. I hope they will come to an agreement with Activision. Yeah, well, the fact that, and again, I'm sure Jeremiah has already hit on this, but the fact that they've included Dan Kitchen, or, the Kitchen brothers, and those guys, I got to think that, well, they're not Activision anymore, but they, their experience is, they're Activision people. I mean, that's how we know them, right? I mean, I know they worked for Atari before and whatnot, but I don't know. OG Hugo says there's no female gamers. I know of one. My mom was a female gamer. My sister's a female gamer. So they are out there. They're just fabled. They're hard to find. Ben's the Spook with a $5 super chat. Let me put a heart on there and give you a thumbs up, bud. Greatly appreciate it. Always appreciated. Never expected. Thank you for the super chat. Thoughts on Neo Sprint? Comes out for the other consoles in a couple of days. Presumably, no online play for VCS. There hasn't been online play for VCS to this point, and I don't think there's any... I haven't heard any news that they're going to be bringing it to the VCS. Is there online play for the other consoles? Has that been confirmed? Again, since I don't own the other consoles, I don't usually keep up too much with the news on those. But Neo Sprint started out rough. We got it for the VCS on its beta testing, and it's improved a ton. I have to say that from what it started out as, Neo Sprint has improved vastly. And it's gone from a game that I honestly didn't care for that much. It was a middling game. Realistically, I think I did a preview of it, and I said I would maybe give it a 3. After more consideration, it was probably a 2 at that time. But I think they've improved it a lot. I think they've improved the AI. It's more fun now to me. It's a better challenge. It's a more fair challenge. So yeah, I think Neo Sprint is going to be a fine game. I don't think it's going to be a huge seller. I don't think they're going to sell a lot of copies of it. If I had to guess, I mean, how many people outside of us know what Sprint even is, or the legacy of Sprint? And how many people... I mean, I love overhead racing games. I'll play and buy almost anything that's an overhead racing game, just because I like the style and the gameplay. So, it might sell. If there's more people out there like me, it might sell. But I think VCS, yeah. I think Neo Sprint is a great game, and I think it's worth trying and worth picking up in the condition it's in now. I think if you enjoy overhead racing games, it's absolutely fine. It's just as good as any of them. Let's see. Hey, everyone, just listening while I cook. Well, thanks for... I think I went way too far up. Thanks for listening, Sabretooth. I appreciate it. Always good to see you in here. The history section of the DLC will be interesting as to how detailed they will get with the expanded and the competition. It sounds like they're really going to sort of get into it, is my understanding. I mean, so if they get you interested in television stuff, it's only to their benefit now. They own VCS stuff. They're potentially going to release the ROMs into a compilation of some sort. They might even give it to Digital Eclipse to do an Intellivision celebration. So yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't get into it. At least, I think a fair amount, because again, it's only to their benefit. And I usually do much better at this game, believe it or not. I'm just wanting to put some gameplay on the screen for you guys and kind of show off what the 50th is while we talk about it. But yeah, this is the Jaguar game, one of the many Jaguar games included in the collection. This is Trevor McFur and Crescent Galaxies, and it's a fairly rough around the edges shooter game, but there's some pretty neat levels and stuff. There's like a Kirby Woolly World level that I kind of enjoy, so awesome stuff to have. Let's see. And getting back to the comments. Justin Messer, good to see you, says, do the math. I remember the ad campaign. My parents did the math all right. That's why they bought a Super Nintendo. Yeah, a lot of people did the math, and it didn't seem to add up, or it added up to there being smarter decisions out there, unfortunately. But I like the Jaguar. The Jaguar is a fun curiosity, and the games aren't that bad, honestly. The games on this collection, so Cybermorph isn't as bad as you were probably led to believe. Trevor McFur is pretty rough. Dino Dudes is awesome. It's a little bit... It's probably not the best game to put in a compilation, maybe, because it does require a lot of patience. But it's a fun game if you sit down and give it a shot. Tempest 2000 for the Jaguar. I've had Tempest 2000 on the PS1, on the Saturn before, And for some reason, the Jaguar version feels the best to me. I don't know. Maybe other people disagree. And Club Drive is just, Club Drive is something else. Let me tell you guys, Club Drive is a game that you really got to be ready to play. And Ruiner Pinball. So this is a fantastic pinball game. Let's get this one going. I love Ruiner Pinball. At least for as far as the Jaguar goes, there's 2 pinball games, and this is the better of the 2 by a country mile for sure. Toe Muncher, my birthday is coming up. I don't know, should I get a new console or more games? I would say if you got a lot of games you want, Toe Muncher, I would get the games, because every time you get a new console, you gotta get games to support it, and you end up needing more and more games, and it's a never-ending cycle. It's one of those things where you're just always gonna find more and more games you want. So I would get the games myself. I mean, but there's something about a new console too that's a lot of fun. So my mouth is getting very dry because I'm rattling on and on and on. Let's see. Many people are expecting Arcade Berserk. I don't think they'll put a non-arcade Atari arcade game in there. Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Jeremiah. With it being an Atari celebration, I don't see the benefit to putting the arcade version of Berserk on there. I mean, because then if you do, I mean, where does it end, I guess? Then you could put any arcade game on there, or any game in general. Then you could put the Intellivision games on there, but I don't think it makes sense in a celebration for Atari, if that makes sense. So let's see, I gotta remember the controls for this. So that launches the ball, and can I just not do anything till I launch the ball? It feels weird playing these without a Jaguar controller in my hand, and I can't seem to get the flippers to do anything. Wait, whoa. The flippers, I couldn't get them to do a thing. Hold on. Okay. That feels like that's the tilt. Let me see. Is there a control? Yeah. Controls. So flipper. Up, down. Left flipper, left flipper, left flipper, left flipper, right flipper. Huh. A lot of left flippers. So left flipper, left flipper, left flipper. Good thing there's so many, but it doesn't do what it says it does, though. Okay, now it does. Okay. Weird controls. I love this game on the actual Jaguar. It just feels... I don't know if my controller's acting up, but the controls are just leaving for this thing. That's crazy. I don't understand what's going on here. I'll back out of there for a second. Vinny's still not on? That's crazy. Wolfsight, honestly, Atari 50 is standard for future compilations with the amount of content. Yeah, I think they've really set a high standard. If you want a quality compilation, I think Atari 50th, is the way to go. Let's see. Fens the Spook is John's sugar daddy. Oh, Fens is just a great supporter to the channel. We greatly appreciate him. Thank you so much, Fens, for all your support, especially after everything that's happened the last few weeks. I mean, I can't thank you enough for everything you do, and the donation, even just watching and liking the videos and the streams, helps out so much more than you guys could ever know. So thank you all. See, I wish Nintendo did an Atari 50 style compilation for the NES and SNES with interviews and stuff from Iwata Asks. I think they can make so much money off just singularly releasing those games that it's probably very unlikely that we would get any sort of Nintendo compilation like that, would be my guess, but I don't know. It would be very cool, though. It would be just an awesome collection. Some people swear Activision owns Magic, but I've never seen any real proof. Yeah, they had some sort of relationship for a while, but I don't know that they owned them. Anyone excited? Yeah, there is a Bubsy collection coming out, so Who's excited for the Bubsy collection? I mean, all your favorite Bubsy games on one cartridge, on one release. I mean, come on, guys. That's got to be a must buy in and of itself. Of course, we got to play as Pog and fight for life. Check out this fighting game, guys, for the Jaguar. This was Fight for Life, so this was going to be the Virtua Fighter killer. This was going to put Virtua Fighter in the ground. And obviously it did, because now we have Fight for Life 7 coming out, which everybody's looking forward to. The fighting game community has been going nuts for the new Fight for Life. And I heard Pog is going to be returning in the story, which we haven't seen him in the last 3 games. So I'm, of course, joking. This game is something I cannot play at all. Let's see. I am out of the closet. Yeah, it happens. Sometimes we aren't ready, but, you know, it's thrusted upon us. Look at these jumps. These are those old floaty Virtua Fighter jumps, if I ever seen them. I do like there's something about these backgrounds and the checkerboard floor, though, that just makes me kind of smile when I play this. And then after you get too far, or, you know, a little ways into it, I stop smiling. I start getting heartburn, I think. I had Ruiner Pinball. I played it a lot. Hey, good to see you, Thomas Jenkins. Yeah, Ruiner Pinball was awesome. I don't know why it was acting up for me. I could not get it to do anything once the ball went out. Bubsy, no! If they fix the issues with the games, maybe I would enjoy Bubsy. Yeah, I don't think they would touch the games, though, right? I mean, that's the point of the collection. I wonder if they're going to put Bubsy 3D on that collection. Think about that for a second. Bubsy 3D on the Bubsy collection. That would make it worthwhile in and of itself. Let's see. Jeremiah Thomas with a super chat. Always appreciated. Never expected. $2. Give you a heart and a like. Looks like you may have been practicing scrolling. Yeah, I did a lot of practicing scrolling through the menus, and I've been practicing Fight for Life for a long time. Look at my Poe action here. There was a lot of cool ideas with Fight for Life, though. You know, the special move system where you can acquire your enemy's special moves, I think was really smart, really unique. Of course, if you just made sure every character had their own worthwhile special moves, it wouldn't be necessary. But yeah, thank you so much, Jeremiah. Greatly appreciated. The support is always appreciated. Never expected. And let's see. Bubsy's issue is the falling damage. Who has falling damage in a 2D platform? Well, that's just the thing. You know, I remember playing a version of Bubsy back in the 90s and just being frustrated by the... You know, by that point, there was fall damage in previous games, and I think people learned by that point that it just wasn't fun. I mean, it's not fun to do a jump and take a lot of damage just because you're trying to get to the next platform or avoid an enemy. So, yeah, absolutely, I agree. I just don't like British developed games, says Raimi. Yeah, I don't know. Raimi, is Vinny online yet? Or did he start his stream yet? I'm just curious, because usually it ain't like him not to without announcing ahead of time. Unless he's having technical issues. I'm about to ring out myself. See if we can take down Mr. G. There you go. Look at that. Taking a bow. And then you get to pick, I believe, 2 of their special moves. So I can take any one of his moves and make it mine. Which I take it just overwrites the previous move in that slot. So, you know, you would take the back fist and the grab punch or something. And then you get a passcode, which is kind of cool. So, yeah. Fight for Life, I think it's important to the legacy of Atari, honestly. If you know the story of Fight for Life, it kind of was like the story of them trying to stay relevant at the very end of life, and it kind of backfired on them more or less. So, but yeah, this is the 90s. Of course, like I said, the dawn of PCs. So you get a lot of information on the 400, the 800, and then you get some of the better games from the computers, specifically the 8-bits. Caverns of Mars was always a game I wish came to consoles. Miner 2049er. What is that? Juggles House? Bounty Bob Strikes Back. So if you like Miner 49er, it's a lot on there. They always put Yump on all this stuff. And that's really it. There ain't a whole lot of stuff on the computer. So, you got Food Fight for the XE line there. But yeah, I think the computer side of this collection was very disappointing. And I too was hoping for more on the computers because, looking at all this, it's so sparse. At least with the games, Bubsy 3D is on there. That's crazy. Almost all games on the Jag were British. There was a lot of British games on there. I will send. Okay, that's for somebody else. Powpuck, good to see you, Powpuck. They should put Bubsy visits the James Terrell retrospective on the collection. Yeah, there you go. Sabretooth Retro. Bubsy 3D is confirmed for the collection. It looks like Fractured Furry Tales will not make it. Wow. That is sad. Sad news. Wow. Abe's Odyssey, huh? Raimi went to check. Nope, not on yet. I didn't like the Abe game series. Oh, you guys didn't like Abe's Odyssey? Wow. Not even an Alan Alda commercial. Yeah, I know. I love the Alan Alda commercials for the Atari computers.
How do you keep track of your customers?
Look at that dad. Now that's a dad right there.
Shopped around. It's a lot of computing capability for such a low price.
That's a smart girl.
Shut up. Life's not all fun and games. There's homework. I even program.
Yep, look at
Atari
that.
has lots of software. Not all the others do. And of course, only Atari has games like Centipede.
There's something about these old commercials, ain't there? Is it just me? They can't afford all the... Yeah, maybe they can't. Hey, channel viewers, good to see you. Glad you can make it on. The fun is back. Yes, sir-ree. It's the 2600 from Atari. Boom, boom. I wonder if that's on here. Probably not. That was the Tramiel era stuff. Of course, you got the 2600, which is probably the fullest era on here. A lot of cool videos that, again, we'll kind of pop through a few of them here. Have you played Atari today? I know I have. I mean, this is... I play too much Atari anymore. Now that I have all this free time, doing a lot of reviews and stuff. Let's see. I have had a belief for a while that Atari does not own the rights to Jaguar Bubsy. Oh, really? Who would then, I wonder? That's interesting. That little girl owns her own bowling alley? Hey, kids back in those days, they're not like, kids today. Kids in those days, they did stuff. You woke up, you went to school, you ran your bowling alley, you did whatever you had to do. So yeah, all kinds of great stuff on here. I think, again, this collection, moving forward, this is the gold standard to me for ROM compilations. And again, it's so much more than a ROM compilation. So getting the updated version is going to be really neat. It could be a great thing, depending what they include. And I'm afraid it's not going to be as great as the original. I don't think the additions are going to be everything the original was. I think it's going to be worthwhile. I think it's going to be just as good. But I think the number of inclusions and the quality of those inclusions might not be everything we're hoping for. That's my fear anyway, and as you guys know, I tend to be on the negative side. But look, if you anticipate the worst, then you're never disappointed, So I love Haunted House. I love these old Haunted House stuff. This was a die-cut Haunted House wall decoration. Awesome. Her afterwards. We should have got a Commodore. Yeah. Kind of telling that the VCS may get the Atari 50th update late and didn't get the Yours Rising demo. I mean, come on, y'all. Yeah, the way I read that press release, it does sound like we're getting the 50th late on the VCS. Not sure why. looking forward to playing the new Yars game, says Braylon. I'm gonna play it. I will definitely play the new Yars game. That's 100%, and I'm hopeful. I hope it's gonna be good. But we'll have to wait and see. To me, it looks too much like everything else out there. I don't know. It worries me. It does. That's I guess my whole point is the new Yars game worries me.
And I said, can I make a submission? Can I submit a
Is the
name?
grandma one about Berserk on here? I don't know. I didn't see it,
I
but
said, okay, I tell you what, come by here
I did
tomorrow
see somebody
morning.
make a point that limited run games Carbon Engine might not be able to run Jaguar games, hence its absence. Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
I know what I'm doing for the rest of the evening.
That's a good
And I'm gonna
point,
give it a try
actually,
before
because
when you
Jaguar is a
make
rough
up a new word,
console to emulate,
everything
so
sounds stupid. At least it does for me. Everything I can't
Very
go with anything that
interesting.
sounds cool. Everything sounds kind of dumb.
kids with their newfangled
So,
Atari
for me,
400s, right?
the algorithm
Once they release a
thinks
game
that
list and more details on what
I thought,
documents and
well, if I can't
interviews
just
will be included, yeah.
spontaneously come up with some
I-
name, I should come up
They
with
might be a
way
little
to
cagey
derive
about the
this.
games for a while. Remember when they updated
The simple title, what's going on?
the
Maybe I need
50th
an
the first
action.
time,
You know,
and
if it's an
they put
action
out the
game,
list
I
of
need an
games,
action
but they
word.
did it without
I don't
telling
know
you
the
what
name
they
of the
were, so it was all
But I thought, you know,
word puzzles or
revenge.
picture puzzles, and we had to
Revenge is a
figure
great
them out.
action
So
word
there's like
because
2
everybody
basketballs
wants revenge.
for double dunk and
So I
stuff
figure
like
I'll go
that.
with
So
revenge, and
I
now
I
all
don't
need
know.
is whose revenge is it? Now I just need to get the name of the character. And then I thought, well, one of
There's
the
actually
great
2 new
ciphers is
games,
he's
Yars
writing
Rising
something backwards.
and
That's
the
never
one
a
made by
game.
Howard Scott Warshaw.
You know,
Wait, what?
the head of
There's
the company's
one by
name is
Howard
Ray.
Scott Warshaw? It's Way Forward.
Ray spelled
There
backwards,
are
that's
they
wrong.
are in their element with
Yars sounds pretty
Metroidvania
cool.
games.
It's got
That's a
Y
good
in it,
point. I mean,
so
if that's
it's got
what they
like
do,
sci-fi, anything
and
with
they're one of
Ys
the
and
best at
Zs,
it, then
you know,
yeah.
maybe an X
Why would
somewhere.
Atari VCS
That's good
owners be
sci-fi.
upset?
And I sat
Just because
down
we
and
didn't get the
wrote
demo that
a
you know
10-page
it's an
story
Atari console and we don't get the
Revenge
demo
of Ray's
that they
Act.
released on other
And
platforms
that
where the
was
last to
that was gonna
get
be the
the
title of the game,
updates.
Aryan
You know, it's
Revenge of
just
Ray's Act 4.
it is
I
what it is. The
stayed
VCS
all
isn't
night
pulling in a
playing.
lot of money for them, so
I was done like 3,
I get it.
3:30.
I mean, the
just
fact
laid
that they
down on the
do give
floor
us
in my
anything
office
and they're still
got a
keeping
little
it going
sleep.
is
And then around
fantastic,
10,
honestly.
in comes the marketing manager, and so
Way
I
Forward
played
is so
with
good.
it.
See, I've never.
This is
Well, I think I have played stuff by Way Forward, but
didn't
I'm not very
realize it
familiar with
fully at
them.
the
But
time, but what I
yeah,
had
a
done
lot of
was I
people
had
are saying
created
how good
Forrest's
Way Forward
backstory.
is, so that gives me some. Shouldn't have this guy talking under me, I guess. Oh, this commercial. So this was the movie theater commercial. To sell Yars Revenge, Atari produced a 2-minute commercial with state-of-the-art computer graphics that ran in movie theaters in 1982. This commercial is awesome. He's working on Yars Academy. Very cool, Jeremiah. I did not know that. I'll have to make a mention of that then. So you guys always school me on this stuff. I'm nowhere near up to date on everything I should be. If this was my job, I would do nothing but research Atari and news and stuff all day long. But unfortunately, I got to do other stuff. But yeah, thanks for keeping me up to date, guys. That is awesome. This was an incredible commercial.
Shift chroma. Intensify.
Sitting in the movie theater seeing this in '82.
You have a formidable enemy. The
Look at that.
cartel.
This is Yars right here.
He has a lethal drone. And some other tricks up his sleeve. Spiral.
Yeah, look at that trick.
Good move, Yar. Now I have a surprise for you.
There you go.
Zorlon cannon.
Zorlon cannon, guys.
Use it, Yar.
Oh, he missed.
Fire again. Got him. That's
Look at that.
revenge. Yar's
Awesome.
Revenge
Just
is a
awesome.
video
You
game.
saw it in theaters, Ramey? That's awesome.
Fun. This can be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's what I have played Shantae. So that would be the games I played there. I played the Game Boy one, which was very well done.
Watch it.
So yeah, if they did that, then yeah, it's probably in good hands.
To deeper space. Galactic map. Sector 11.
Now this was a complicated game back in the day. Star Raiders.
In. Cylon warships. Attack. Steady. Stand by. Photons.
What if making video games was just you sitting in a room throwing stuff around? I'd be the best game developer ever.
Let's see what we can come up with next.
We're Atari. We have a vision, and we invented the technology
Awesome.
to bring
Seeing the 2600 on the big screen. How cool is that, guys? And again, you know, that's the cool stuff you get on here. You also get an update to Yar's Revenge. So it's basically Yar's Revenge. I think there's like a... how do you shoot again? I think there's a different... sorry. Mission or what do you want to call it? A different pattern. Man, it is hard playing off of the computer screen. There we go. We'll get him this time. There we go. See, I knew we would get him this time. I said it, because I was actually focusing. And then I think you get, yeah, this pattern, and then I think there's one more, is there? I don't remember, but very cool. At least that they kind of updated it, gave it a modern look, sort of a neon sort of thing going on there. Very cool, very cool. Let's see. I wouldn't unless you are a die-hard Atari fan and are in the cult just like us. The VCS is the redheaded stepchild, no doubt about it. I just got one, and while I like it, it's definitely not for all. Yeah, I would be cautious with the VCS. Just know what you're getting into with the VCS. If you choose to buy it, wait for it to go on sale. Know, research and know all the issues, and there are issues. Anticipate that you're going to have those issues, and then if you're okay and capable to deal with them and you want an Atari branded machine that could potentially do a lot of cool PC stuff, then yeah, grab it, but definitely not for everybody. If you are an Atari VCS 800 owner and are on Discord, make sure you join the Atari VCS Discord. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of great Discords out there if you're on it. There's endless amounts of Atari stuff to join, including the Atari Network Discord. Sabretooth Retro, the demo for Yar's Rising was fun. I'm cautiously optimistic. Well, good. I'm glad. A lot of people that said they played it said it was fun, and that makes me feel better. Channel of the Yars, spread your wings and take off into the morning sky. Awesome. Wolf Sight just picked up a complete box copy of Star Raiders for the 2600. Did you get it with the outer box and the boxed number pad and everything? That's awesome. I love that set. That's really cool that you got that, Wolf Sight. Let's see. Does this have the Easter egg? Probably. I got one about 3 months ago. Very cool box to have it. Yep, it's the deluxe set. Got it. Gotta go pick up the son at job. BRB. Bye. See ya. Yep, see ya, Raimi. You can easily flip to the OG graphics. You can? How? Oops. Look at that. Yeah. Look at all this cool stuff you can do with the Atari 50th. Now, here's the thing with the original Yars, and I've noticed this when I'm trying to capture footage with my current setup. So you guys can't see either the middle protection part or the barrier around him. It always alternates. So I don't know what it is about the graphics of the original Yars. Let's see, there we go. Hold on. Yeah, I'm in 2-player mode now, baby. No, but I don't know what it is about the original graphics of the original Yars, but it always does that. It's always like half and half on the screen. You know you can stand behind the neutral zone, and the Zorlon cannon moves at the speed of morbidly obese plumber. Nice. Why is it called BCS 800? It's just a callback. Hey, Cafe Man 2D, I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Originally, they're going to release 2 versions with slightly different specs. BCS 400, BCS 800. 800 is the only one release, yeah. Plus, it's a callback to the old computers and the video computer system. So, that's really it, guys. I wanted to show off what we have currently with the Atari 50 collection. and I wanted to kind of talk about and speculate what's going to be in the update and for the new release. Honestly, anything in this form, with the timelines, the videos, if they include this much extra content, which I think they, it sounds like 8 videos for the one, 6 in the other. Again, 39 games split between the two. They've already mentioned sports and stuff, so there is some negatives. They've also mentioned prototypes for 2600, 5200, unreleased stuff, homebrew. I think there's going to be a big nod to Atari Age in there. So, absolutely, I think it's going to be something worth checking out. If you already have this version, probably well worth downloading the DLC update. And if you're a fan of physical media, then support Atari if you want to see more updates and stuff and pick it up. 69, nice. So that's all I had for tonight, guys. So tomorrow, we're going to have more gameplay. We're going to have a gameplay focus stream. We're going to be playing Circus Interstellar tomorrow. So join us at 9:30. We're going to play our Circus Interstellar. If you're not familiar, it's available on Steam and the Atari VCS 800. We're going to play the VCS 800 version. Fantastic. Ettensoft does a great job with Circus Interstellar, and I really hope you guys join us for that. Yeah, it does have Saboteur channel VRs. It is. I'm pretty sure it's in here, right? I think it was added. I'm almost positive Saboteur is in here. It's in all their collections. But yeah, that's tomorrow. Don't forget to leave a like on your way out, guys. We're going to go ahead and just end here. Don't forget to check out the Discord server, the Atari Network Discord. Thanks to everybody that gave super chats and stuff like that. Always appreciated. Thanks for checking out the video. Check out the Patreon, YouTube memberships. A lot of bonus videos coming out for the month of July. It's Atari Network's 1-year anniversary. And other than that, everybody, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being classy Atarians. And as always, never forget that Atari is,